Hi, this is Tim, and this is a follow-up video to the post I put out this weekend. After we got back from Napa, we had experience from a wine educator in one of the cave tours that we had, a few tips that had changed the way I tasted wine. I had never heard of these things before, and I've drank a lot of wine for the last 30 years. So I wanted to share them with you. They're amazing little tips. Before we share those two things, just here's a couple of things to not do. Now, we see this scene all the time. Every time we go out to buy a glass of wine, anybody that supposedly is a wine expert or connoisseur or whatever it is, they will do a couple of these basic things. When it comes to their wine, they will pop the cork out. And after they do that, they're going to take that cork and they're going to do a bunch of things with it. They may do all kinds of things with it. They may squeeze it. They may bend it. They may smell it. They may squeeze to look for moisture in the lid or the cap of it. They may look at the wine, all kinds of goofy stuff. But when it comes to just tasting wine and enjoying wine, none of this matters at all. Unless there's some kind of a pungent smell or over vinegary smell, you'll know it right away. So there's not a lot you need to fool with the cork thing. So anybody starts doing that, you kind of know that they really don't know what they're doing. The other thing is once you get the wine, we do a couple things with it. If we order at a restaurant, for example, they'll pour a waiter or the waitress, sommelier, will pour us a little glass of wine. And the first thing that we do is we hold it up, we swirl it around. And we think this is actually part of the wine tasting. But what that does is it actually changes the whole complexity of the wine from when you first poured it in. Now it's much more acidy, it's got more air in there, and the tannins are alive. So when you first taste it, this is the first taste you're taking of it. Oh yeah, those acids and that tannin flavor is really pronounced. Now, what it takes for that to calm back down is about 4 to 6 minutes. So if you start drinking this wine and you're like, ooh, I don't like that taste, well, we kind of did it to ourselves. So what we want is real, actual, just tasting. So we can take this glass of wine that we've done improperly and we'll just put him aside. Now here's what they taught us to do in the cave, and this was all about just getting the most delicious experience from drinking your wine. Just a couple of things we can do to manage that flavor. And here they are. I thought these were fantastic. So, we uncork the wine. Really all we want to do is get the wine out of the bottle, into the glass, and into our mouth. Very simple. If you want to drink wine, that's what it's all about. It's not about any of this showman stuff. So, he poured a little bit of our glass for us. And the first thing he did was he held it up and he said, don't shake the baby. So don't swirl it at all. You want to just take it from the bottle to the glass and take your first little sip. Good. That's a good tasting wine. Now, here's something else. If you notice that it's a little tannin heavy or a little acidity, don't stir it or anything. What he taught us to do was tilt the glass, and you can do this on the table or just right in your hand, and just swirl it. Just not swirl it, but turn the glass and let it slowly move in your hand. Give it 3, 4, 5 little turns there. And what that does is it flattens out the wine and it smooths the flavor. So now you just bring it up nice and slow. Oh man, much smoother. And you'll notice that. That's probably the best trick we learned in the weekend. And one of the other things that they taught us was when you're doing your food pairing with your red wine, sometimes you want it just to be smooth for drinkability. But other times you may want that same wine to be more robust, like if you're eating steak or lamb chops or some big heavy dish and you want your wine to match it. Well, that's where your swirling comes in. So you enjoy the taste of it, but you want this wine, the same wine, to now be more robust for your food pairing. So then that's where you swirl it. What that does is that adds oxygen. and the flavor of this wine goes boom. So do the acidity and the tannin levels, but the whole flavor of the grape now expands. Oh yeah, now that's ribeye steak worthy. Those are just a couple of the things they taught us that really helped me to get away from the show and actually just down to how to enjoy and experience my wine. I thought I'd share them with you. I hope they're helpful, and I look forward to sharing some wine with you soon. If you have any other tips or tricks that you've learned that actually help just real people enjoying wine, please put them in the comments below so we all can benefit from them. I'm Tim Moore, and I'll talk to you next time.